The Lord was with Joseph. The Lord was with Joseph, so he prospered. I was listening to a radio station yesterday, and they were focusing on the story about Joseph, and there were some things that just popped out to me, and I'm like, oh my God. You know, when you have been reading something all the time, but you have never seen things certain way. They were basically talking about success God's way. And I know all of us want to be successful. We want to be successful. We want to achieve things, want to gather up stuff while we are here on this earth. But it is very crucial that we do it the right way, that we do it God's way. Now, when we look on the story about Joseph found in Genesis 39, so I'll be focusing on Genesis 39. We can see, and we know the story of Joseph, how his brother had envied him, and they throw him into a hole, and then some persons were passing by who were buying slaves, and they sold Joseph to them. And now Joseph was taken to Egypt, and Potiphar, one of Pharaoh's officials, bought him, so he lived in Potiphar's house. Now, because God was with Joseph, he prospered. And I can just imagine, because to be in such a situation, first of all, your family give you away, them sell you out, them not have nothing to do with you. Then you're brought into a strange land, you're brought into a strange place, you're brought into a strange environment, and then you're brought there as at the lowest level as a slave. But I'm trying to figure out how is it, what kind of attitude Joseph had during those discouraging situations, that God was still with him. And I can just imagine, for example, the slave owner say, boy, go clean up there, so, or come here, servant. And I'm assuming Joseph would have been acting humble. Yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. And having that humility and having that hope, he must have had hope as well, to know that this could not be the end of my life. So Joseph was sold by his brothers, brought into slavery, lived in the Egyptian home. However, God was with him, and because God was with him, he prospered, and everything he touched prospered. And it was so good that the Egyptians, call it them enemy, realized that no man, something about him. So they entrusted everything they owned to Joseph. You understand? So when God is with you, whatever you put your hand on, wherever you go, you should be prospering, and persons should recognize it. As they were saying, when you become a new creature in God, you should become recognizable. People should see the difference. And I say, no man, me don't know what, but something about that person, there's something. And everything he put his hand on prospered, and everything was entrusted on him. But you know that the devil don't like when you're always winning. Just as you are winning right now, the devil a plan and a scheme and a plot for you. And so Potiphar's wife came into the picture, because the Bible record that Joseph was handsome, well built, and she keep tempting him to sleep with her. But you know what I like about Joseph, being a man of God, he refused. And therefore, when you're lured into certain things, lusting, when you start thinking certain things, refuse. As me tell people, I'm not gonna go down the road and me know say down there I might be tempted. Me not go bother go down there, because sometimes we believe we can deal with sin, and trust we will not even know what the enemy are planned for us. So when you can refuse and reject it from the initial state, nip it in the bud. No go down there if you know you will be tempted. No go to party there if you know you will be tempted to drink. No bother hang out with certain people if you know say certain type of conversations will take place. Don't go down there. Refuse to be a part of it. Don't compromise God. Anyway, the devil still want to have him way. So one at the time they were alone, she grabbed after him. Joseph realized what was happening and take away himself. You understand? He refused to compromise God. Anyway, the wife told a lie on him, told the husband, Potiphar, Potiphar put him in prison. But guess what? God was still with Joseph in prison. And there are times we are in our lives and we are put into certain situations and we believe God has forsaken us. But listen, wherever you are today, God is with you, and wherever you and God is, you will prosper where you are. Joseph still prospered in prison. Even in prison, Joseph prospered, and he was given charge over everything in prison. So wherever you are in your life, once God is with you, nobody can be against you. And eventually came out of prison. Potiphar gave him back everything. He was in charge of everything again, and everything went okay. The point I'm trying to make is we have to be careful. Sometimes we are in some discouraging situations, but still be humble, still praise your God, still respect people. Sometimes the enemy is gonna come with distractions and detour like Potiphar's wife, but you stay focused on the cross. It is about God. We're not compromise God. And listen, don't doubt yourself as well. Pray to your God. I can imagine how Joseph may have felt when he was thrown into prison. After I do everything right, God, how me end up in a prison? And I know we feel that way sometimes. We do everything we possibly can, but then still tell lie and we still end up in a certain unfortunate situations. But God is with you, and when God is with you, you will prosper, and everything will be restored to you. Everything will be redeemed to you in exceeding abundance. You can't even say, yo, it's gonna be like a whoa, me never see this coming. That is how God operates. You just stand firm for him, and whatever you put your hand on today will prosper. So start touch up some things. This is the year of prosperity. You need to believe it and claim it.